Good evening, all, once again. Welcome back to Formula for Speed. We're happy to have you back. I'm your wonderful co-host, at least I try to be wonderful, Chad. This is my other lovely co-host, right here, Babyface.
Hello!
Babyface. This started off like it was a crazy start to Hungary. Guys, we're back, we're covering Hungary. And this was a good start on the lap coming into it. Babyface, you want to touch on that?
Listen. Max crashed into the wall.
It was wet. It was wet.
And
it was wet.
The mechanics, I didn't think they were going to be able to do it.
I don't think anyone did.
I was just like, no, he's done. With 20 seconds to spare, they put him out there in a car.
Mm-hmm.
That is unbelievable. I mean, we're constantly raving about their pit stops.
Yeah.
Those guys worked their tail off. And I'm trying to stay positive here because I'm like, oh my goodness, they put him in a car, he's on the grid, he's gonna start. But then another part of me is like, is the car gonna start falling apart as soon as he takes off?
Right.
Because, they rushed it. So, hats off because they did fantastic. I just hope the car can make it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If they could give driver of the day to the mechanics, guys, let us know in the comments. I mean, did you think he was gonna make it back to the grid? Because I didn't. Let me know. Let us know in the comments what you thought. Because I was like, oh man, there goes his race. I mean, because he, out of nowhere, he hits the wall, and I'm like, oh no, not like that. I mean, again, I don't want to see anybody take a loss like that. I'm sure you all don't. I don't. Babyface doesn't. But, coming into it, I'm like, oh, this should be a good one. You know what I mean? And he got ready.
Yep.
So, on pole, Hamilton's on pole, Bottas is second. Racing Point, the carbon copy to the 2019 Mercedes, as they say, running 3 and 4.
Listen, I took a double take when I saw Lance Stroll on third position.
3.
I'm gonna say that and I'm gonna drop it because I'm done with the topic. Half of me was shocked, like, what?
Right.
Because just last season, you were actually joking about it. You were like, Lance Stroll can't make it out of Q1. He can't make it. And I was agreeing with you, and I was like, yep, you're right. Now to see him in the third grid spot. P3. You know what? I'm actually kind of glad. Because if he's going to take up somebody else's seat, might as well do something with it.
Right.
And up until now, I've always said, I don't feel he deserves a seat. Not to say that he doesn't know how to drive, because it takes skill. Like, me as a regular just road driver, I can't drive a Formula 1 car.
Right.
You've been in a Formula car, so you know it takes extra level. Like, it's easy for all of us to sit here as fans.
That's different.
Go, oh, he's trash, he's crap. But if you put any of us in a Formula 1 car, we will probably fly off within the first 10 seconds, if not
There's no
more.
driver assistance in there. It's on you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm not saying the kid can't drive. He can. I just strongly felt that seat was bought for him, and there was other talent, like Ocon, when he didn't have a seat.
Facts.
So, I'm going to drop it. I'm glad to see him up there because do something. You were literally given that seat. Your dad bought you the seat. Make something happen.
True. I mean, guys, let us know in the comments. I mean, Lance Stroll right now, I mean, he's performing decent. Well, not even, I can't even say decent. He's performing well. Is he one of the most improved drivers on the grid? After 3 races. He's running well. Perez is running solid. P4. But this, the Mercedes cars, they did well in qualifying. 5th and 6th, Vettel and Leclerc.
You know what? I don't like them side by side.
Right now, I don't think anyone does. Not right now. They just,
especially with what just happened last week.
But I think they're over that. They talked about it. Guys, they've moved on. Now they have new new parts on the car, new upgrades. We're going to see what they can do with it. In the race, they're running 5th and 6th. Guys, let me know in the comments. Let us know. What did you think? I expected more in qualifying. I did, with the upgrades they brought. I expected more. Let us know what you all thought. What did you think, Babyface? With the upgrades, I thought 3 and 4. That's what I thought. Maybe, yeah, I thought 3 and 4.
You know what? I felt like it was going to potentially be exactly what happened last season, where we all went to break, and when we came back, it was like, ooh, Ferrari brought all these upgrades. They brought all these upgrades, and frankly, I was still looking for the evidence of those upgrades.
Well, apparently, due to the settlement with Ferrari and whatever was going on with their engine, it's sealed. They're down on horsepower, so I'm not
because they were being shady.
So everybody, I think that's the sentiment around. Besides with Ferrari,
the FIA slapped their hand and was like, "Don't do it again." Now their cars are slow, but it's secret. Nobody knows what they were doing to their engines.
It's the package they're bringing. It's not matching. The aero is not matching. It's down on power, and it's not doing what we're used to Ferrari's doing. You know, so I mean, I thought the upgrades would have helped, but no. Max is running 7th. Lando, Babyface, Lando, running 8th. Carlos Sainz running 9th. Pierre's running 10th. Danny Rick 11th. George Russell 12th. So that meant that Williams has escalated performance. I mean,
I'm so glad
it's improved. Here. Yeah, me too. Albon 13th. Ocon 14th. Latifi 15th. Magnussen 16th. Kvyat 17th, Grosjean 18th, Giovinazzi and Kimi Räikkönen. So, from what I'm noticing, guys, out of the 3 teams running Ferrari engines, Haas, Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, it looks like, I wanted to say Haas took the biggest step backwards. But if you look, arguably Alfa Romeo, which I was, arguably, we'll see how they do in this race. Because if Haas does well, if either one of the cars get a point, you have to say Alfa Romeo.
Okay, yeah.
You have to, because none of the Ferrari package cars are doing well at this point. Haas didn't do well last year. They didn't get the aero right. They were running through tires a lot quicker than any other team on the grid.
They were.
So their aero was totally wrong. Alfa struggled, but I figured. But with all the teams running Ferrari packages, none of them are doing well. So we'll see how they do this race. Yep. Let us know in the comments. Out of the 3 teams, who do you all think is should I say? I would honestly say backwards Ferrari itself. I don't know how Ferrari itself. Look at this. You've not seen Ferrari doing this midfield team contender? Nah. So it starts off wet. Lap 1, guys. Valtteri almost had a false start. Started again. So I actually hurt himself on the start. So I didn't think he should have got a penalty. He hurt himself. Lewis is off and running. Guys, P2. I mean, look at that racing point. Running strong. Strong.
But you know what was crazy?
What?
It started out going, oh wow, P2. And then next thing you knew, Lewis Hamilton was so far gone. I was like, okay, here's your P2. Here's a 20-second gap. Well, it wasn't that bad at first, but it was like 7 seconds in no time.
One of the advantages Lewis Hamilton has over the rest of, over mostly all of the drivers, he studies the tires, studies the compounds, and he practices how each tire runs. So he knows when to push, lay back, push again. That's why late in the races, after his tires are multiple laps aged, he can still run the fastest lap. And they're like, why is he doing it? Well, he's knowing how to run the tires. One of the best tire managers I've seen.
Yeah, and
in
he
F1.
says that he is constantly trying to learn and improve. And I sincerely
changes his driving
that.
style.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
always.
I really, really admire that about Lewis, because
sounded like Schumi.
You could really, honestly give him a pass by going, well, you've won 6 world championships. If you answer well, I'm not changing anything because it's clearly working, I wouldn't be mad at that response because clearly you're successful. But the fact that he is so successful and says, I'm constantly trying to grow, I'm constantly trying to get better, I love seeing that.
Right.
I wish we had more
of that, yeah.
success stories like that in sports.
By the way, Danny Kvyat just came in to change tires. 4-second pit stop, very slow. And to your point with Lewis Hamilton, not to digress, but yeah, man, he has that mentality like a Jordan, like a Kobe, like a Montana.
Yeah.
Shout out to my 49ers, by the way. You know what I mean? Like a Steve Young. Always trying to get better.
But to your point, there were a couple of guys that from the start, they were like, we don't think the ground is wet enough for us to be on these tires.
Right.
We should change them. We should change them. It was very early on that a couple of guys were like, I don't think so. Because for a while there, they thought it was going to rain.
They did.
And even like a couple, like 10, 12 laps in, it was like, oh, rain is coming in 10 minutes.
Right.
Rain is coming in 5 minutes.
That's true.
It thankfully
Did you all think the rain was going to come? Because I thought it was. And it pump faked.
Yeah.
Nice pump fake. It was supposed to come. It didn't. It just didn't come. So, lap 4, Lewis Hamilton's in on medium tires.
Yeah.
He came in. So the track obviously started drying up. Rain's not there yet. 3-second pit stop for Lewis Hamilton. Puts on the mediums. Everyone's coming in at this point.
Yeah, the pit lane became so
Lance
busy.
Stroll. Look at this. Lance Stroll, Danny Rick, Hamilton, Verstappen, Perez, Sainz, Albon, Latifi, Gasly. I mean, I could keep naming them. Everyone's in.
Yeah.
Vettel, and Vettel had a 9.2 second pit stop. Carlos Sainz. Whatever's going on with McLaren, and that's my team, they cannot get Carlos Sainz pit stops right. At least one time they'll have a 7+ pit stop. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
And that's normally not them, but I'm thinking he got held up in traffic.
That could have been it because that happened with Vettel too. Vettel's pit stop was actually pretty good.
It was.
But they just couldn't release him with all that traffic coming in and out.
They couldn't. And Latifi had a spin, got tangled up.
Yeah, he punctured his tire on the way out.
Yeah, he did. Now he's back in. He had the softs on. Now he's coming back in.
You know what had me scratching my head?
What?
They brought in Vettel. And I was like, all right, they left Leclerc out because of all the traffic. And then the traffic was gone. And Leclerc was still out there.
Strategy. I don't know. Listen.
That strategy was all backwards. He was on the radio complaining about his tires.
Yeah. Listen. I'm not quite sure what's going on with Ferrari. That's why I know sometimes a lot of times the strategy as of late has been off. Guys, let us know in the comments. If you're a Ferrari fan, can somebody let us know what's going on? I mean, I don't want to get on them too much, but yeah, it seemed a little off. Now my McLaren boys, they didn't have pace really. They didn't. It was tough. Because I'm looking like lap 7 right now. Ironically, before I get away, K-Mag is running 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all the Ferrari powered cars, Haas is running the best right now.
He was running good.
And for some time, they were running the best. Like, they were there. Grosjean's running 5th. Stroll is still 4th. Verstappen, phenomenal. He's running 2nd. By the way, when I saw 1 and 2, I was like, that's going to be 1 and 2 finish. Verstappen and Hamilton. Because I said, I think Bottas can get up there. I've always said this. When he's chasing and he has to do it under those pressure and it's chasing somebody like Hamilton or Verstappen or Vettel or anybody that's very good, sometimes most of the time he falters.
Last week, he did just fine with that. He overtook Verstappen just fine. I think Bottas would have caught him had he not, because there was one turn where he was coming out and he was getting ready to pass him and he hit a water puddle.
Yeah, he caught Verstappen last week. Not to take away from Bottas, he caught Verstappen because Verstappen had wing damage. This time, Bottas should have been further up. He almost had a false start.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, he almost had a false start. But he's still running a solid race. Leclerc and Vettel, they're dropped back a little bit. They just don't have the speed. I mean, you could just see, guys, these Ferraris are lacking overall. It looks bad for them.
I mean, the fact that the Ferrari was actually having a tussle with the McLaren, which is powered by Renault. I know you were excited.
But I was like, wow.
But when you see that, you're like...
Never thought I would see a Ferrari struggle.
Exactly.
With
a McLaren.
Powered by a Renault engine. Never thought I'd see that. Racing Point just looks a lot better than them as well. Right now, crazy? Ferrari, besides that P2 finish by Leclerc, which was phenomenal, Ferrari does not look good at all. No. I'm not quite sure if they'll get it together this season.
I don't think so. I don't think so
either. Yeah, I think it's too much to do. Right now, right now, lap 13, everybody's trying to predict the rain. They're saying they're seeing rain. And then, I'm like, will it come? Will it miss? I'm thinking it'll come.
It was a huge tease.
Because I thought everybody's going to go in wets again and we're going to have a good race. I'm like, man, even better than what it was now.
Yeah.
Lewis is out there just running.
Yeah, he was gone.
It's like Lewis got a good start, got out ahead of everybody, was like, I'm just going to stay ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
The whole race.
Right.
That's what he pretty much did and said. Said and did. I'm sorry. But I'm looking now, and even Albon is catching Leclerc for 7th position. Grosjean is doing a good job, I think, in 6th. Bottas is running 5th. Stroll running 4th. So it's still solid. I'm looking down the order. Perez 10th. Danny Rick is trying in 11th. Sainz is trying in 12th. Kvyat, Gasly 13th or 14th. Raikkonen is trying 15th. So Kimi's trying. Ocon is running 16th. So and Lando's in 18th place. And I was surprised. I thought Lando would be running better than what he was. I really did. I think the pit stop messed him up, everybody coming in. But I thought Lando would be running a lot better.
I agree.
I was surprised to see him that far back. I really was. What you think, babyface? This far. So we're like 15 to 70 right now. Thus far, Hamilton 1, Verstappen 2. I didn't have the Haas's running. Guys, maybe you guys had it better than us.
No.
I didn't have the Haas's running 3rd and 5th. 3rd and 6th, I'm sorry.
Nope. I didn't see that.
Not at all. This was a good Albon is catching Leclerc. Vettel's right behind Albon. So and in my head I'm thinking, yeah, Albon's gonna catch this Ferrari and he's gonna pass him.
Oh yeah.
Which I was like, it was like the Ferraris were just sitting ducks a lot, and I'm rooting for Vettel all season. I have to root for Vettel because I don't like the way they did him. I'm serious. If we hadn't signed Danny Rick and we still hadn't had a driver for next year, I think McLaren would have hopped all over Vettel.
Listen.
I wouldn't have been more happier.
At first, and mind you, I'm not happy with the fact that possibly Perez is going to be out of a seat.
Kvyat's done, by the way, lap 17 to 70. Yeah, oil, I think, something wrong with the engine oil and stuff. Yeah. But guys, can you...
So, because again, Lance Stroll has a seat that's bought. Checa is good, and he's statistically better than...
He's a good driver on race day. Yeah,
he's statistically better than Stroll.
A lot better.
So, based on skill, Checa should have had a seat over Stroll, but that's just not how life works.
Yeah.
And at first when I heard that, the rumors that Vettel might be going to Racing Point, I was like, no, we'll never see him again. That's terrible.
Right.
After watching this race and seeing how Racing Point is flying, and how they are completely kicking Ferrari's butt based on where Ferrari is right now.
And you know why that is? They're running the 2019 Mercedes essentially on against an underpowered Ferrari car. They're going to win all day.
And that's fine.
Right.
Once I saw that, I was like, yes, Vettel, go to Racing Point. Because what you can do is...
And Albon just passed Leclerc, by the way.
There you go. Take all the Ferrari pressure off, because everybody knows the pressure, it's like a pressure cooker in there. Everybody says it. The pressure at Ferrari is insane.
That's what everybody says.
And he clearly was doing well for as long as he was there.
Yeah.
In the sense that he didn't crack under pressure. Maybe the evidence is that he wasn't performing, and that was him cracking under pressure. But he always seemed cool and collected. But the way they handled that situation, go to Racing Point. Especially with the car they have right now.
Yeah.
Man.
And the old rules are intact for one more year.
Man, imagine Vettel going to Racing Point and beating Ferrari.
Because I think I think at this point, Racing Point's literally going to take Mercedes car from this year and use it for next year, carbon copy almost, and go from there. So yeah, you know what I mean, babyface. Next year, Racing Point I think is going to take that car. And guys, I know a lot of people may not like it, but guys, literally, Haas did the same thing when they came in. They just copied the Ferrari car. Alfa Romeo takes stuff. That's what you do. I mean, let's just be honest.
It's part of the sport.
It's part of the sport. And if I'm Racing Point, you know what I'm going to say? You guys are mad. I'm using a year-old car. Aren't you innovatively ahead of that?
And kicking your behind.
Hey.
I need Vettel to go to Racing
Notice
Point
who's not crying about it.
with that car.
We're not crying about it. We don't got time to cry, man.
Completely embarrass the snot out of that red team.
Right now, everybody else is crying about Racing Point. We're the best of the rest.
Yes,
I just want to. So instead of focusing on, for me, guys, I don't like it, and maybe you guys let me know in the comments. I don't like it when other teams, they're doing this, they're doing that. Man, just focus on your team and get better.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, beat them.
Yeah. I was waiting for that quote. I knew it was cooking.
I'm serious. If you don't like them, beat them. You know, if they're using a year-old car, well, use your new technology to beat the year-old car.
Yeah.
I'm just enjoying my McLaren boys outgunning people while they cry about the year-old car. I don't see the point, but whatever. Because at that point, if I'm Racing Point, I'm like, oh, I see now. You all don't feel like you can outperform us, so now you're going to protest. Renault's one of the main teams protesting. And guys, again, I wanted Renault to do well because that means we would do well with that unit. Now that we're going away from
I need Renault to protest against itself.
Yeah, Renault got a lot of work to do. Instead of worrying about, if I'm Racing Point, I'm like, the team that's using your engine, McLaren, is making you look real goofy right now.
Yeah.
You all need to focus on outperforming the team that has your unit.
Yeah.
Don't worry about us. Beat us. You know, right now, and guys, right now we're on lap 27. Gasly's out. I thought it was Kvyat, but I was wrong. Gasly's out on lap.
Yeah.
Yep, on lap 27. Hamilton's running for the hills. I think he's
gone.
He's in outer space. He's in another stratosphere right now. Verstappen is running comfortably. Stroll's running comfortably. Bottas is out there running a solid race. K-Mag is still running 5th. So now I'm looking at Lando and Leclerc go at it. And I'm enjoying myself. Because these two went at it. Guys, if you saw these two going at it, this was a nice battle. I know it was only for 14th place, but this was a good battle. I enjoyed it. They didn't touch hard racing.
That was Lando, not Carlos?
No, this was the first.
Oh, that was the first one. That's right.
So this is Lando first, not Carlos. So I enjoyed it thoroughly. Ooh. Albon again. Albon sometimes can make me nervous because he cuts it real close when he's going to pass somebody. I mean, he gets really close to...
But you know what? I'm not mad at that because he's keeping up as best as he can.
Right.
And he's being aggressive.
Fair enough.
Because, let's call it the way it is. Pierre Gasly is good, but he wasn't aggressive enough to keep his seat.
Pierre never raced that car like Albon did.
And I mean...
He just thought too much. It was...
Look at Max. Max had a season where he was just crashing everywhere because he was being overly aggressive.
Part, that was 2018. 18, yeah.
But then he cleaned up. He streamlined, but he never gave up. No. So the fact that Albon is doing the same thing, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
You're being aggressive. You're trying to make your name stick. But you know what? Over time, I think he's going to be able to clean that up.
I think so too. And right now they go at it again. Leclerc is coming right back at Lando Norris. This was good racing right here. And I thought they were going to touch. They didn't. They did not touch. So Lando is not giving up that position at all. He's like, look, if you're going to take this from me, you really got to fight me. We're fighting for it. We're scrapping. And he did. I mean, they were going at it, babyface. They were going at it. I thought it was, I just can't stop watching. I mean, I really thought they were going to touch right there, and they didn't.
They didn't.
They did not touch.
But I think Leclerc also learned his lesson from touching Vettel. last week.
He got overzealous shooting up the inside. He shouldn't have done it. They were 3 wide.
I think he's being much more cautious without losing his edge.
He is. Mind you, Sebastian Vettel's pumping out fastest laps, 120. So there's some pace. That car, I don't know, man. It's like, guys, let me know. That car's touch and go for me. But again, he's battling the McLaren for 13th position now. So he gets past Lando. He does, guys. He gets past Lando. And I'm like, man, all right, I wish he wouldn't have, but it happens. Right now, Bottas is out there running fastest laps. Lap 39 to 70, guys. Yep. Bottas is running fastest lap. And I'm like, man. I was like, will he catch Verstappen? Did you have him catching Verstappen?
I thought that he was going to catch him, but I really didn't want him to. Because, and I think I told this, I said that to you briefly. As much as I want Bottas to like a Mercedes 1-2.
Right.
I wanted Max to win, not for Max. I wanted Max to win for the mechanics that work their butts off.
Latifi's out. He just spun. He had a hard day. Latifi had a rough day. But I get your point. I think everybody wanted Max to do well for the mechanics' sake.
Man, those mechanics made the miracle happen.
They did.
Make it worth their while.
Yeah, I agree. Guys, let us know in the comments what you thought about that. I was like, you know what? He has to make this stick for
the mechanics. Because let's face it, we all are like, even if you're a team, if like I'm a Mercedes fan,
right?
I immediately think of the people that we see most, the 2 drivers and Toto Wolff. But that's not the entire team. There are people that are back at headquarters, that are back in the shops, the strategists.
Lewis thanks him every time he wins.
Yes.
Thanks everybody back at headquarters for doing what they do.
There's so many
knows
people.
What goes into it. Everybody,
like
the drivers
logistics,
know.
the admins. There's so many people that go into that we just don't get to see, that don't get to get thanked.
Right.
And in this case, go Max. Not for yourself, but for all the people that literally stayed up probably all night or whatever, however long it took them to fix it.
Right. And I'm looking now. Lando just passed Romain Grosjean. So Lando's driving. Grosjean, he starts struggling with the car a little bit. He's struggling with the car. But K-Max still running a solid race. He's 9th right now. And, I'm like, wow, this is going to be a good race. I'm still waiting for the rain. It's lap 50 or 70. I was like, maybe it comes, maybe it doesn't.
No, by this point I'd given up on the rain.
Had you?
Yeah.
I think they said it was south of the track.
Yeah, it was just going to kind of like dance under it, but really not hit it.
Not hit it at all, yeah.
I think Hamilton said he saw like a couple drops here or there.
He did. He saw a couple drops, but it wasn't really. Bottas came in at this point. 2.4 second pit stop. What did he have on the hards? Yeah, so it looks like he had the hard tires on at this point. Lap 50 or 70, guys. He put on the hards. And he's out and running. So, yep, hard tires.
Yep, and that put Red Bull under pressure because now he undercut Max. I mean, now if Max pits, he gives up P2. But his tires are older than Bottas's now. Technically, Bottas could pass him and catch him.
Right. One thing Max, I know everybody says they want to see him and Lewis go at it. One thing Lewis has on the whole field, he manages his tires like no one else.
That's true.
I mean, like no one. I've seen guys manage tires. You know who else ironically does a good job managing tires? Perez.
Yep.
Perez does as well.
Agreed.
I'm looking at this battle, man. He's trying to get into the points. Leclerc is in the points. Carlos Sainz is trying to get into the points. And I said, will these two his teammates next year hit each other? They didn't. Guys, they didn't. It was some good hard driving, but no one collided. So Leclerc had two hard... I mean, he's had, in this race, he went at it with some people. Not one collision.
I am so glad because that would have been a horrible way to start.
I didn't want him to...
Relationship.
Right. So right now, the driver of the day is Max. I was like, now Max had a drive. That award should go to Red Bull's mechanics.
Yes.
Seriously. Guys, I know Max drove a phenomenal race, but without those mechanics, he wouldn't even have been there. So they keep replaying. I mean, you see Leclerc and Sainz just going at it. And Sainz gets past Leclerc to get into the points for 10th place, right? I was like, oh, this is not over.
No.
It's not over yet. It's not over yet. At least I was thinking in my head. Then traffic gets in the way. Then Bottas is lapping. So that ruins that battle right there. I was like, Bottas is lapping. Had to slow Leclerc down. It just came at the wrong time for Leclerc. And them two going at it again. Because they happened to run into the back marker of Williams, which is George Russell. Or was that Russell? I believe that was Russell. Then Bottas was coming up. So,
you know, that little scrap between Carlos Sainz and Leclerc brought up a good point for me, because I assumed that as soon as Carlos joined, Leclerc would be, because, you know, Ferrari is very clear cut with A driver, B driver. Every team has it, but I always felt like Ferrari most definitely has, like, yep, driver A, driver B. I assumed
there's
Leclerc.
the bluff.
Yeah, I assumed
Mercedes.
Leclerc would be driver A, Sainz would be driver B. After that tussle and seeing both of their skills side by side, I was like,
Sainz is a good driver.
do you really want to do Leclerc A and Sainz B, or does Ferrari finally go, we're going to let them drive and see who is doing better for a particular race or season?
That's true. I want to bring up next the team I bring to Vegas with me to gamble. Mercedes is the best bluffing team.
I mean, they ran out with tires.
Then Lewis had the nerve to get on the radio. Guys, what's going on? Like, he didn't know what was going on. Come on, man. Like, I'm just like, and you know what's crazy? It works every time.
Yeah.
I keep doing it if I were them. Because you never want a chance if you're another team. Well, what if they're not bluffing?
Yeah.
They ran out there and he says what's going on. Then they finally changed tires so he can get fastest lap. I was like, they knew the whole time. So when Mercedes does this, guys, let me know in the comments what you think. I've never bought it. I was like, when I figured out 2 or 3 seasons ago they bluff, I'm like, I told her, I said, your team bluffs. That whole, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Guys, the tires feel crazy. Lewis, I've been watching your whole career, man. Come on, dude. You're nothing's wrong with your tire. They may be a little blistered, but they always seem to last them to the end.
That's true.
Like, now he's on the soft just to get the fastest lap. I'm like, yeah, dude, come on, man. They're bluffing. Mercedes is the best bluffing team out. Bottas. Now, Bottas is within striking distance.
Yes, he is.
Been there for a couple laps. He's getting closer and closer.
And Verstappen was getting a bit nervous because he's like, not the same thing from last week.
But this time he doesn't have a damaged wing.
That's true.
Damaged front wing, to be
exact.
But
his tires were starting to go.
They were. He was driving that car tough. Red Bull has a lot of downforce in that front wing. Their aero is a little different from other teams, so it was interesting to see because I didn't know. Guys, did you have Bottas passing Vettel? Let us know in the comments. I didn't. I didn't think he could do it not this week. I was like, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. And at this point, he's less than a second behind him. The thing is, I said, even though he's less than a second, he still has to pass him. With Verstappen, without an injured car, he's a better driver than Bottas. And I'm just being honest. He's a better driver than Bottas without an injured car.
I don't particularly agree with that.
Look at the results from last year. Listen, when it comes to a driver performing under pressure that can come from behind in a field and win a race, I'm going to put my money on Max. Bottas, unless he's out front from jump, he's just not going to get it done like Max.
I don't know. Because we just talked about not too long ago that when Max comes from the back, yes, he's a force to be reckoned with. But the moment he gets flustered or frustrated, he can be a bit erratic.
But he's clean. He's cleaned that up.
He's getting better, but it's still not foolproof. Just like Bottas sometimes cracks under pressure. Not all the time.
How many races did he leave on the table last year?
He did. How many races did Verstappen go a little bit overzealous?
He did.
Just the last couple of races from last season. He took himself out.
Yeah.
He tapped people. So
But I believe he got second. I believe he finished second overall, or was that Verstappen? I mean, was that Bottas? Yeah, I think in an equal car, you put them on the same team, put them both in that Mercedes. Guys, let me know what you think. I'm gonna take Verstappen over Bottas. Same car, you put them in the same car. I'm gonna take Verstappen over Bottas all day. Lewis, of course, wins. Running 116s, he ran away from the field. Yeah, Verstappen second. Bottas third. Stroll. Guys, I had to eat my words. Lance Stroll finished fourth. Never thought I'd see him finish. I didn't have him finishing fourth.
I mean, last season you didn't have him coming out of Q1.
Because he didn't. Listen, guys, I'm the dude that... let me tell you how I analyze things. I look at the stats. I look at the facts. And I'm like, okay, so that's how I'm going to say, look, I don't think he can do this because the facts back up what I'm saying. If he can do it, why don't we see the results? I don't go by theory and feelings. I just go by what I see. If this person can get it done, he should be able to get it done. I just feel like the only thing I will say is if you put some guys in an equal car, but I didn't see Lance Stroll finishing fourth. I had to eat my words. Let me know in the comments. Did you have Lance finishing fourth?
I didn't have Lance Stroll finishing anything.
I didn't have him in it. Yeah, the Racing Point looks good. I had Perez finishing. Put it like this. Swap them around. That's where I had Perez. I had Perez finishing fourth. Stroll like maybe 8th or 9th. A point or two. But that's not what happened. Stroll ran a solid race. Vettel was 6th. So guys, I had to kind of eat crow. I'm like, man, Lance Stroll had a solid race. 4th place. That is solid. Of course Lewis won, but Lance Stroll, I don't know. I had to eat my words. Babyface, that was I couldn't believe it because I thought, guys, let me know again in the comments. I had Sergio outdueling him. I did not have him. So when I saw him, I'm like, wow, he really finished in 4th place. Like, wow. So all the Lance Stroll fans, they're gonna come at me. They're gonna be like, yeah, you give him a hard time. Well, yeah, I do. I'm admittingly, but I just didn't have him. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't. Going by stats, compared to the rest of the field, that's what I go by. I don't know. I just didn't have him. I didn't have him finishing 4th. What you think, babyface?
It was a good race.
Solid race. I liked it.
And you know what? I'm also not mad that Ferrari's car aren't performing so well this season. 1, because it's a short season, but 2, because I get to see a lot more of the other teams that I normally wouldn't pay as close attention to, because I'm always looking at Mercedes, Ferrari, then Red Bull, right? The top 3 tier teams that we were really looking at. Now I'm getting to see more of McLaren. I'm actually looking at Haas. I'm actually looking more at even Racing Point. Racing Point wasn't even on my flipping radar. Now I'm like, oh wow.
You know why I'm paying attention to Racing Point? Because we got to beat them for best of the rest.
Of course.
What's crazy is who's in the race for best of the rest at this point? Ferrari. I never in my life, and I'm being honest with you, never. I don't think it. Listen, people say, well, I saw this coming.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. No one saw Ferrari fighting to be best of the rest.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
We're beating Ferrari.
Unless you're clairvoyant or you work for Ferrari and you are an engineer and you were like, oh, we are screwed. You didn't see this coming.
The mighty Ferrari struggling with the mid-tier teams,
No.
Didn't see it happening. Not last year. I'm going to be honest with you. When I found out they got in trouble, I said, okay, it's sealed. What they'll let them do, fine them. They'll still bring a powerful engine.
Yeah.
But, man, I didn't see this. Guys, let me know. Ferrari fans, did you see Ferrari struggling to be a contender amongst the midfield?
No, nobody did.
Babyface, this is crazy. Mm-hmm. I'm now looking at this. I'm like, maybe Vettel got out at the right time.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Vettel wasn't performing for Ferrari. So, I mean, it was just bad all around. It was Ferrari had mistakes and not the right car.
Right.
Vettel wasn't doing what they wanted him to do. I think it was just bad altogether. They wanted it to really work. I think everybody really wanted it to work, but it didn't. So yeah, maybe he did get out at the right time because he's not quite so old that he cannot still contribute something. As long as he lands somewhere where there's a good car. Put Vettel in a good car with less pressure in a completely different environment. I am hopeful that Vettel is going to show out. I'm hopeful that this separation with Ferrari is like kick in the bum that he needs.
You know why I wanted him to go back to Red Bull? Because I wanted to see Hamilton and him battle again.
No, because there's no space for him at Red Bull.
I know there's not.
The way those Racing Point cars are running.
Do you think where do you think Vettel goes? Let us know.
Hey, if he goes to Racing Point with the way that they're running, if they keep improving, we'll see a whole lot more Vettel.
Who's out of F1 next year?
Checo. Unfortunately. I think Checo will be out.
No. Over Grosjean and Magnussen?
Because
I would think Checo would go to Haas, right? And you move Grosjean out. I hate to say it, but guys, Checo out of Formula One, and he still has 2 more years on the contract, so you can't put him out.
Well, you know that there's that exit clause. You know, some of these contracts.
I know. I just don't. He's too solid of a driver to put him out.
Let's just wait and see. Hopefully Vettel lands somewhere, and if he doesn't, hopefully
I'd like to see him in a Racing Point.
Hopefully, if Vettel doesn't land somewhere, hopefully it's something like what happened with Alonso, where he takes a year, just a sabbatical to clear his mind, get his marbles back.
Imagine he's back next year with Esteban. Ideally, fantasy world, Hulkenberg and Vettel on Racing Point. Send Lance Stroll and Checo.
Listen.
Or at least send Checo to
I'm mad they got rid of Hulkenberg.
I think everybody is. He got pushed out from Renault. The thing is, you pushed him out for what? You're not doing... Listen. I don't know. What do I know? What do we know, babyface?
You know stats, and I...
Well, you know Renault, because you said they were...
I go on,
You said they were...
misguided gut feeling.
Hey, you were one of the ones saying that you didn't like Cyril. She was one of the ones that was like something about Cyril she didn't like.
Cyril? Really?
Renault. Yeah, because we watched the show on Netflix.
Oh yes. You know, Cyril just isn't on my radar. I know I said I don't like Binotto. The moment I saw him, I was like, I don't like him. There's just no evidence to back any of that. So my opinion in that is completely invalid. But
mind you, I think Ferrari was regretting that decision because the last time they were any good was the team boss before Binotto.
You know,
last time they were good.
Bennett was fine.
I think they wanted a shake-up, but they didn't realize it's more than that. It's the car they had on the drag strip. Ferrari in 18, nothing was touching Ferrari on a drag strip. Straight line.
I don't know why they got rid of Arriba I don't
try to switch. They wanted to change it up.
Yeah,
they thought that would help.
I don't think dude is, and mind you, again, I have no statistics to back this up. This is just, my very unimportant opinion. And he had 1 year to get his feet wet because you kept telling me that. Well, it's his first year, year, and this is a short season, so this is also not a very good indicator because,
Well, babyface, to be fair, you don't need stats for that. Look what he did last year, and then who did he throw under the bus last year? You remember that?
He threw Vettel under the bus. But
I didn't like that.
But in contrast, look what Zach Brown has done with McLaren. How long has Zach Brown been with McLaren now?
A while.
Maybe it takes Binotto a while.
But the thing with Zach Brown, now to be fair, Zach Brown doesn't throw guys under the bus.
He does not.
And Zach Brown...
He also doesn't lie to his fans and say that they're going to keep a driver when they're not.
Yeah, he doesn't do shady stuff. This is what I'm saying. It's been... I don't think it's all Binotto's fault that happened.
No.
But what I'm saying is... I don't think they should have switched team bosses. I don't know what... I think they were looking for a change to challenge Mercedes, not realizing you had the car in 18 to beat them. You should have won.
Should have won. But I think all around, this is just not going to be Ferrari's year, because Ferrari notoriously, and I respect it, they're an Italian company, they hire Italian workforce.
Right, I respect it. Yeah.
And because of the pandemic, Italy was absolutely ravaged. I mean, putting things into perspective, racing, pandemic, loss of life, racing just isn't up there on the priority list. So,
you know what I think though? Before the pandemic hit, they still had these issues because they tried some. We don't know. What do you think, guys? Let us know what was up with the engine.
I don't know. All I'm saying is I don't expect anything out of Ferrari that's really mind-boggling this season, because I think they're
in a transition space. Yeah.
It's too much. It's too much. And I think everybody all around the world has clearly been hit. But I mean, Italy got it so horribly bad, and I can only imagine, like, you know, with all that Italian workforce. I don't. Yeah, no.
You know what else? Because I know the pandemic hit a lot of people. I think Williams is switching from Mercedes to Renault.
Engines.
I think so.
Why would they do that? Have they not learned?
Save money. Save money.
Oh my God.
Save money. That's one of. I know that's one of them.
Well,
maybe one of the factors.
Maybe they do a McLaren and they run better on Renault engines than Renault does.
I'm waiting for Renault to still deliver on that promise they made to Danny Rick.
Listen, I'm telling you, Renault, Cyril took a Ferrari or a Benz and wrapped it in Renault colors, because I cannot understand what he showed him.
Guys, I'm normally I'm not pessimistic. I try to see the good.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for you to find it.
Listen, I'm trying to figure out.
Matter of fact, I'm not waiting, because we are about done with this race.
I can't even say nothing, man. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no.
Maybe they bring something because Alonso's coming back to Renault. He ain't been with Renault since, 05, 06, whatever. Maybe
the only reason they'll change things up is because Alonso's about to blast them on the radio. Remember what he said in the last episode? He's like, this is the worst car that I've ever driven.
Now, Alonso is known that they accuse him of being a cancer for a team.
Yes, I can see that.
So, I'm not sure if...
I mean, it can either go horribly wrong.
Or right.
Or...
Either Sarah will be a genius at the end of that next season.
Well, we'll find out next season.
Or Renault will be like, yeah, we're going to go into a different direction.
We'll find out.
Won't we? Guys, thanks for watching us. Let us know in the comments what you think about the future of Ferrari, Renault. Any comments you think about this race. Again, like, share, subscribe. This is Formula for Speed. Appreciate you for taking the time to watch us. Babyface, any closing remarks?
Silverstone is coming up.
Arguably, to a lot of people, the best circuit on the calendar. Arguably,
it's one of my favorite.
Everybody likes silver. How can you not? How can you not?
Tune in for next week.
Gotta do it. So, guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate you. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.